Why is it that the more you chase a woman, the faster she runs? Why is it that the man who listens politely, agrees, and says all the right things is the one she forgets before the night is over? And why, be honest, does she obsess over the man who gives her silence, tension, and a little bit of danger? Here's the harsh truth. Women are not moved by your kindness. They're not hypnotized by your politeness. They're pulled into the orbit of the man who knows how to bend their mind before he ever touches their body. Machiavelli understood this 500 years ago. He wrote, "Men judge more by the eye than by the hand." Translation? Human beings don't follow truth. They follow power. And in today's world, where every woman is bombarded with compliments, texts, likes, and desperate attention, the only man she remembers is the one who speaks with strategic weight. This isn't about pickup lines. This is about power. About 7 Machiavellian shifts in the way you talk that will make her lean in, question herself, and crave your presence long after the conversation ends. Let's begin. Most men speak like they're racing to the finish line. Question, answer, statement, explanation. Done. It's linear, predictable, boring. But the man women can't forget. He doesn't talk in straight lines. He speaks in curves. He hints. He implies. He plants questions in her mind and leaves them unanswered, letting her imagination chase after him. Think about it. Which is more powerful? A book that explains everything on page 1, or a story that reveals its secrets one shadow at a time? Desire lives in the gap between what's said and what's left unsaid. Machiavelli himself would have smiled at this. He wrote that power belongs not to the man who explains, but to the man whose meaning must be deciphered. Translation? The less you reveal, the more she invests. Example. Average man. Yeah, I grew up in a small town. It was nice, quiet, nothing special. Machiavellian man. Pause, slight smirk. Funny thing about small towns, they look quiet on the surface, but the secrets people keep there, they never really go away. Now she's leaning in. Her mind is racing. What secrets? What happened? She's hooked, because you didn't give her a message. You gave her a mystery. Here's the shift. Don't rush to explain. Speak half of what you mean. Let silence breathe after your words. Deliver sentences like doors she wants to open. Because once she feels like she has to decode you, she becomes a puzzle she can't stop solving. And once her mind is locked on the mystery, her body will follow. And here's the dangerous part. Once you stop speaking like a message, you need to start speaking like a memory. Because mystery gets her attention in the moment, but an anchor keeps you in her head long after you've walked away. Most men try to impress a woman right there, right then. Be funny, be charming, be agreeable. And then they disappear from her mind the second another man texts her. But the Machiavellian communicator plays a longer game. He doesn't just want her attention. He wants real estate in her mind. How? By planting emotional anchors. Short, vivid, unusual ideas that echo in silence. Ideas she can't unhear. Think about it. If you say something basic, she forgets. If you say something extreme, she resists. But if you bend her frame just slightly, if you drop a line that twists her perspective, her brain starts replaying it when she's brushing her teeth, lying in bed, or staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m. That's not memory. That's obsession. Example. Average man. You're really beautiful. Forgotten in an hour. Machiavellian man. Calm tone. Funny. You strike me as someone who has no idea how dangerous her beauty actually is. That line sticks. It bends the frame. She can't stop thinking about it. Machiavelli himself would have whispered, "The strongest influence is not seen in the moment of speaking, but in the silence that follows." Here's the shift. Stop trying to be memorable. Plant seeds that grow after you're gone. Challenge her worldview. Flip a belief upside down. Reflect something about her she's never noticed herself. Because once a woman starts filling in the blanks with her own imagination, you've already won. And this leads us to the third shift. Because the moment you start bending her frame, she will test you. She will poke at your confidence. She will challenge your seriousness. And most men collapse under that pressure. But a Machiavellian man, he doesn't fight for the frame. He rewrites it in silence, and this is where the real test begins. Because the moment you start planting anchors, she'll push back. She'll tease you, question you, even mock you, just to see if your frame can be broken. Most men either defend themselves like a boy begging for approval, or they fold, laugh it off, and give away their power. But a Machiavellian man never fights for the frame. He simply redirects it. He lets her finish. He absorbs the jab. And then, without flinching, he moves the conversation exactly where he wants it to go. Example. Her. Wow, that's kind of arrogant of you. Average man. Oh no, I didn't mean it like that. Defensive. Or, well, maybe you just don't get me. Combative. Machiavellian man. Slight smile, calm tone. Maybe. But tell me, what do you usually do when someone doesn't give you the answer you expect? Now she's disarmed. Her attack is exposed. The frame is no longer hers. It's yours. And you didn't win it through force. You won it through elegance. Machiavelli himself would have said, "Never meet opposition with noise. Meet it with redefinition." Here's the shift. Expect her to challenge you. Never defend. Never over-explain. Redirect her frame with calm curiosity. Let ice beat fire. Because when she realizes she can't shake you, when she sees your confidence is untouchable, that's when tension turns into respect. And respect is the soil where desire grows. Now, once you've controlled the frame, you have her full attention. The next step is to transport her, not with logic, not with facts, but with stories that pull her into your world. That's the fourth shift, and it's the one that makes her forget the world around her. Once you've seized the frame, you now have something most men never earn, her full attention. But here's the problem. Attention is fragile. If you waste it on boring facts, logical lists, or endless self-promotion, she drifts away. That's why the Machiavellian man doesn't inform. He immerses. He doesn't tell her what happened. He makes her feel what happened. Because women don't bond with data. They bond with emotions painted through story. Average man. Yeah, I learned a lot from my divorce. It made me stronger. Machiavellian man. I remember standing in that empty apartment, middle of winter, no furniture, just a mattress. I looked around and thought, everything can be taken, but I can rebuild it all. One is information, the other is immersion. Which one makes her heart race? Machiavelli would have whispered, control the imagination, and you control the heart. When you tell a story, her mirror neurons fire. She feels your emotions. She enters your world. And for a moment, it's no longer you and her across the table. It's her living inside your memory. Here's the shift. Build a vault of 3-5 stories, short, visual, emotional. Don't overpolish them. Keep them raw human. Tell them slowly, with gravity, with silence after the key detail. And watch her body language shift. Her breathing slows, her eyes soften, her posture relaxes. Why? Because you didn't impress her. You transported her. Now here's the dangerous twist. Once she's immersed, the silence after your story becomes louder than the words themselves. If you can master that silence, she'll chase to fill it. That brings us to the fifth shift, using silence as a weapon. Most men are terrified of silence. The moment a pause appears, they rush to fill it, rambling, over-explaining, telling another joke. Why? Because deep down, they're afraid of losing her attention. But the Machiavellian man understands the opposite. Silence isn't weakness. Silence is gravity. It creates a vacuum, and the human mind cannot resist a vacuum. It has to fill it. Example. Average man. So yeah, I went to college in Chicago. It was great. I studied finance. What about you? Machiavellian man. Calm tone, slow pause. Chicago. It teaches you things people in small cities never learn. Silence. She leans forward. Like what? Now she's chasing your words, because your silence turned curiosity into desire. Machiavelli would have said, "He who reveals himself fully gives away his power. Let her hunger for the rest." Here's the shift. Pause mid-thought. Leave sentences unfinished. Hold eye contact 1 second longer than she expects. Answer briefly, then let silence breathe. When you do this, her body reacts. Her breath changes. Her mind races. Suddenly, she's not just hearing you, she's feeling you. And that feeling lingers longer than any clever line ever could. But silence alone is not enough, because eventually she'll want to know, who is this man really? And that's when you reveal a truth most men never dare to show, that she's not the prize. You are. Here's the mistake most men make. They hand over validation before a woman has earned it. They call her beautiful before knowing her. They say, "You're amazing," without ever watching how she handles pressure. They treat her looks like currency, when in reality, it's just cheap inflation. The Machiavellian man flips this dynamic. He doesn't disrespect her. He doesn't compete with her. He simply waits. He observes. He withholds judgment. And in that quiet restraint, he makes her feel something she rarely feels with men. Evaluated. Example. Her. So, do you like me? Average man. Of course you're gorgeous. I've liked you since we met. Predictable. Machiavellian man. Half smile, calm tone. You're interesting, but I'm still watching if it's real or just performance. Now she's invested. Now she wants to prove herself. Now she's chasing you. Machiavelli himself wrote, "The privilege that is hardest to win is the most deeply desired." And that's the essence of this shift. By withholding quick approval, you raise the value of your attention. Suddenly, your compliments matter, your opinions matter, your presence matters. Here's the shift. Hold your validation until it's deserved. Make her wonder if she's impressing you. Never hand over attention like candy. Let her earn it, because earned value is addictive. And here's the beauty. Once she feels she has to earn you, she doesn't just want your attraction. She craves your respect. And that craving sets the stage for the final shift, the one that transcends flirting and desire and locks you into her mind forever. Attraction built on looks fades. Attraction built on mystery and silence burns slower. But even that can fade. What doesn't fade, what locks you into her memory, is when you become the man who upgrades her mind. Most men try to entertain her. Some try to impress her. But the Machiavellian man makes her think. He sharpens her self-awareness. He challenges her assumptions, not with arrogance, not with aggression, but with calm curiosity. Example. Her. I just don't trust guys anymore. They always end up disappointing me. Average man. Oh, not all guys are like that. I'm different. Predictable. Forgettable. Machiavellian man. Steady eye contact. Maybe. But tell me, why do you think you keep choosing the same type of man? Now she pauses. Silence. Reflection. You didn't argue. You didn't defend. You planted a mirror in her mind. And mirrors are unforgettable. Machiavelli would have said, "He who sharpens her thoughts, sharpens her hunger." Because when you leave a woman thinking more deeply about her own life than before she met you, she doesn't just want your touch. She wants your presence. She wants the clarity she only feels around you. Here's the shift. Ask questions no one else dares to. Reflect her contradictions without judgment. Share stories that parallel her struggles so she sees herself in your experiences. Never tell her what to believe. Make her explore why she believes it. Do this, and you stop being just a man she's flirting with. You become the man she measures others against. And that is the ultimate position of power, because when the body follows the mind, desire becomes inevitable. And that brings us to the final transformation, where these 7 shifts combine into something greater than attraction. They make you the man she doesn't want to play games with, the man she doesn't want to lose, the man she fears she might not deserve. Now step back and see what these 7 shifts have done. You're no longer the man who over-explains, over-gives, or over-chases. You've left behind the habits of men who try to earn women's attention like a beggar asking for coins. Instead, you've become a man with gravity, a man who doesn't fill space but commands it, a man who speaks less yet is listened to more, who moves slower yet makes her heart race faster, who never asks to be chosen because he has become the standard by which she measures every other man. That's why she can't forget you. That's why she replays your words at night. That's why her body betrays her mind and keeps pulling her back toward you. Because deep down, she knows no one else makes her feel this way. And here's the truth she'll never admit out loud. She hopes you will choose her, and fears you might not. That is the silent power Machiavelli understood. That is the mark of the man who doesn't just seduce, he dominates without lifting a finger. If this opened your eyes, don't just keep it in your head. Lock it into your life. Drop a comment with the 1 shift you'll use tonight. Writing it makes it real. If you want more Machiavellian strategies to master attraction, power, and presence, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. This channel is for men who don't just want attention, they want dominion. And if you're ready to take this further, check the link below for the full playbook. It's not tricks, it's not fluff. It's a strategic guide to becoming the undeniable man, the man 99% of guys can never compete with. Remember this, she doesn't need another man to talk to her. She needs a man who can bend her thoughts, sharpen her hunger, and command her respect. Become that man, and you'll never chase again.